Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Brenton with Wittmer Rejuvenation Clinic, and we have another guest today, Stuart Brauer, joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's been a client of the Wittmer Clinic for a while, and man, with all your experience in this space, I'm really excited to have this conversation, brother. I appreciate you jumping on.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. This is fun. I mean, I always enjoy getting on with the doc and having our Zoom check-ins and talking shop, but this is a little bit different, so I'm pumped to do this.
Yeah, I was really excited when I got this opportunity because, I've had my experiences so far. I started in November, and so it's given me an opportunity to kind of go through what you guys go through, right? And feel a little bit about the experience with the clinic, the experience with doc, and then the experience obviously with the treatment as well. I do like to start the conversation with talking about what treatments you're on. Let's actually start with your age as well, if you don't mind throwing that in there as well.
100%. So I just turned 37 at the end of December here in 2022, and now we're here in February 3rd of 2023. So 37 years old. I've got a kid. I'm divorced. I've got multiple businesses. I'm an active guy. I've done sports. I found CrossFit in 2006. I've owned gyms. I've been in the fitness industry. I had a degree in exercise science. So fitness, human performance, kinesiology, that's been my entire life's work. And then very more so on the business side. I've switched into business consulting and working with gyms and things like that in 2015.
Dude, that's awesome. I know we go way back just through different relationships, whether it was in the CrossFit space or the business space. And so it's really cool to now see our journeys. I'll be actually 36. Tomorrow's my birthday. So
Nice. Well, happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, got two kids, got a third one on the way. So I think we're very similar as far as our stage of life, which can make this conversation
Very
pretty
similar.
cool. Yep.
But I went and got a medical procedure called a vasectomy real fucking quick after the first one.
Mine's booked.
Dude, listen, you're a fucking saint. You're a saint. Like I got buddies that have multiple kids. I'm like, bro, I hey, I don't know how you guys do it, but my hat is off to you.
Well, here's the deal, bro. I have two girls right now, and I told my wife I would roll the dice one more time, and I got a boy, so we're good.
Yeah. Good. There you go. Good for you.
I feel like at this point, so the baby's due in May, come June, if we need to cut it off, whatever we need to do to make it stop, I'm good.
Close
no
up
more
shop.
late nights, no more, none of that. So that's great, bro. And I think that's going to transition. Once again, sorry, real quick, let's talk about what prescription you are currently on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So my current protocol right now is 240 milligrams per milliliter of cypionate, however we want to pronounce it. And that's been my mainstay. I've done a run of Semarelin, which is a growth hormone releasing hormone. And I did that for about a little under 5 months, right around there. And it was great because I was able to talk with the team over at Wittmer really very transactionally and say, hey guys, listen, I'm in a unique situation. I'm in this like strength endurance thing where I'm training for a marathon. So I'm not an endurance athlete by trade. I'm generally a bigger, stronger kind of power athlete. But I'm doing all this running and all this other stuff. And I can't tell whether the Semarelin actually made a huge difference. I haven't noticed a huge change, but I also didn't drop. I get DEXA scans done every 6 weeks. I get VO2 max testing done every 12 weeks. And my VO2 max has only climbed up. I scored a 53 on the last one, up from 47. My body fat percentage has maintained around 9 to 10%. And I'm eating my ass off with all the endurance work. So I'm like, I can't say it didn't do anything because I look great, feel great, have done better. But even with that, just with that, they were like, hey, listen, there's another peptide that we recommend, ipamorelin. It's also references CJC 1295. And it's really good. It's got a different amino acid complex than Semarelin, the one you were just on. We can give this a try. And it's also great because it has a lot of great characteristics that are awesome for people who have a lot of wear and tear in their joints. A lot of endurance athletes will use it. So it was great that they were able to tailor that specifically to where I am now in life. It's not like, they just threw an assembly line type prescription at me that they give to everybody.
Right. And that's one of my favorite parts too, is I'm currently on the BPC 157, beat up knees from playing ball for all those years and stuff like that. And, it's cool because they want that feedback, right? They want like, okay, so how is it feeling? Have you felt the difference? What differences have you felt? Instead of just like, okay, here, go buy this. Hey, here, go do this. Like, it's not, I haven't had that experience. I know you guys haven't had that experience as well. And I think that's definitely one of the things that separates the Wittmer Clinic as far as, that conversation that you're able to have with the staff, with the doc, where it's like, hey, like, this is the results I'm feeling. what else can we do? Or am I good here? Or things like that. Cause I know for me, I just started my treatment in November and I started at a lower dose, just to kind of see where we're at. And once I did my blood work for the second time, we didn't get the results we wanted. So it was an open conversation like, hey, are you comfortable with, bumping it up a little bit, taking this? And I was like, yeah, let's go. And then within a couple of weeks, checking in again. About to get my blood work done next week already. So I just love that aspect that it's constant feedback. And the reason I touch on that, Stu, is because I know you had some experiences in your younger life where you were kind of trying this stuff out a little bit. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that experience?
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe I would have organically and naturally maybe ended up obviously at an area of low testosterone. We're all going to end up there at some point. Mine was much more accelerated. I'm an ectomorph. If you're listening to this, but I'm a ectomorph ginger. Okay. That's a tough gig when I go to an all boys high school in Cleveland, Ohio, and you're trying to make varsity lacrosse and trying to get laid. Okay. So being 145 pounds soaking wet was a tough gig. So I lived in the weight room. My passion has always been strength and conditioning. I grew up on Mel Siff and Mark Ripito. Louis, West Side. Like I grew up on all that. Oh, yeah. That's what took me to exercise physiology as my degree. But living in the weight room and doing everything, I kind of, as an ectomorph, kind of hit a plateau. And whether it was a true plateau or not, I'm in college and I'm not playing real sports anymore. I'm playing pickup lacrosse and intramural flag football. And Division III college in Ohio, intramural flag football champion, right? If I'm D-line, I'm destroying you. And that's my life, right? It's college. I'm playing beer pong and intramural flag football. And I want to be the biggest, strongest guy in this middle of nowhere Division III college. And, dumb college guy. I went down an educated rabbit hole of anabolic chemistry and really educated myself, found a local doctor who was very young, spoke with him. He was also in the bodybuilding scene, and he oversaw about a year and a half's worth of steroid use and cycles that I went on. We'd do about 12 weeks on, X amount of weeks of PCT. Everything went good. I went from like 180 pounds to 215 pounds, but it was college 200. It was not good, man. I mean, I had a mohawk and I was bloated in the face, and my blood levels always came back fine, but it was not a healthy version of me. Yep. Fast forward, I ended up finding CrossFit actually, and I had a 16-year-old kid who's maybe a fourth my weight and size and strength, crushed me in a workout. And that instantly was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break from the steroids for a while and do this other thing. But the doc told me on my last appointment, and once my PCT, which is for everyone listening, it stands for post-cycle therapy, making sure that your testosterone and estrogen levels return to a nice, easy equilibrium so you don't get gyno, you don't have the side effects and things like that you hear of with steroid use and abuse. And he said to me, he goes, brother, just to give you a heads up, like you poured kerosene on a fire in the years of making a lot of testosterone. So probably 40s, maybe earlier, you're going to find this, and this is going to happen to you. You're not going to, and it's going to be because you crushed your endocrine system too early. And you'll probably have to go back and see another doctor like me. And ironically, probably have to get on testosterone replacement because your body's not going to naturally produce it because you fucked that process up in college. And I'm in college. I'm like, bro, whatever. I'm sweet. And that was it. And he wasn't wrong. 35 years old, 34 years old. I've owned multiple businesses. I've been working 16, 18-hour days for over a decade. And all of a sudden, energy crash, sex drive crash, cognitive just clarity. And I withstood that for over a year. I thought it was me. Yep. I could sleep a little more. I could eat better. I just need to change my training. I'm just in a funk, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't. And I knew what it was because the doctor warned me. Like I kept seeing his words, like him telling me this in my head. I'm like, I know what this is. I need to go get tested. But I was embarrassed. I was concerned. I didn't want to tell my wife at the time. I didn't want to tell my friends. I didn't want people to know I was on this. And it just took internal conversations with myself. But then, getting to listen to Doc Wittmer on the Mark Bell podcast, getting to learn some more about stuff. It all just kind of came to where I found peace with it personally. And that's what allowed me to take the first step to go and get tested and having a conversation with someone.
Yeah. And we were chopping up shop a little bit before this call. And we were just talking about how we both kind of just hit this point. For me, and I mentioned this on the last interview, I have 2 kids. We were just talking about third one on the way. So like for me, the sex stuff was good, right? I mean, it was doing its job. I felt like I was performing in that aspect. I have a similar background to you. I was a college athlete, and then I found CrossFit, did CrossFit for 10 years. And it was just like, you just basically blowing my body out any way possible. And I hit about 34 and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I didn't know if it was depression. I have some history of depression in my family. So I was like, is it that? But I'm not like sad. I just don't want to get after it every day. I just kind of felt like I was in this like weird funk, and I was still in love with my wife. I was still attracted to my wife. I still liked working out, but it just, something wasn't right. And that continued to decline over a period of time, to where then things start building up, right? In the way they can build up in a good way, which we'll talk about in a second, they build up in a bad way. So I was in a job I didn't like. I was around people that were negative, on top of all that other stuff I was personally going through. And I basically got to the point where I looked myself in the mirror one day and I was like, what is going on? Like, I have something I need to address. And it just so happens that right about that time is when I found, reconnected with Jeff and Jason and the team. And I'm like, what are you guys doing over there? And he started telling me, and I was like, wait, this might be it. And sure enough, bro, I'm 35 years old. Went and got my blood work. I was barely in the 400s. And like, as a 35-year-old high energy guy like you, I just like, I was missing something. And I could tell very quickly once we started getting my hormones back in order, wow, finally, like I feel like myself again. And then that's where the momentum in the good way starts building, where I want to train more. I want to watch my diet more. I sleep better, things like that. And so did you have a specific moment, Stu? I know you kind of touched on a little bit. Was there like a specific day you woke up and you're like, all right, enough of this. It's time to make a change?
I've always been extremely confident, very A-type. I've always been very confident in my decisions, especially in the one realm that I feel it's the only thing I'm extraordinary at, which is the fitness industry, the business of fitness, and this gym thing. It's the only thing I've ever done. Right? I'm worthless everywhere else in life. I remember doubting myself, like having to let come. So I travel around. I do a lot of public speaking events and things like that. And I remember like one time someone questioned something on me, like in a Q&A at the end of my keynote, and I had a hard time making eye contact. And I don't ever have that fucking problem. Like I just like, what is going on? Why do I have a lack of this lack of self-confidence? It was because, again, the sex drive was down. My energy was down. I didn't have as much gusto in the gym. All these little things, it's just like death by 1,000 paper cuts. It just sheds away at your own self-esteem. Yeah. And again, it's like also chemically, like things I can't see are happening that are also causing. That's why you're very similar. A lot of people think it's depression. I thought that too for a second. My father committed suicide when I was 16. So depression is a real thing in my household. It is in my family. It wasn't that point because I was happy everywhere except there. I just had my daughter. Business was great. Like, why, blah, blah, blah. And then, it was just this. I was like, it's, again, buddy, it's something you can't see, but is there, and go and get tested. But that was really it. It was starting to feel like this lack of confidence, when that's one thing I've always had. Even when I know I'm wrong, I am that guy. I am ignorantly confident, even when I know for a fact that I'm wrong. And I was lacking that. And that was something where I was like, okay, there's something deeper going on.
Yeah. And I think that's the important part of these conversations is guys like me and you, we have athletic backgrounds. We have a lot of confidence in certain areas, but if we're not having these open conversations about what these treatments are able to do for us, then like there's a huge group of people that are really going to miss out on the opportunity of what I would call their life, because they're going to be held back in so many different ways, or they're not going to reach their full potential. And I know you listen to Doc a lot. My favorite quote ever from him, and he told me this in my initial consult, that, he's not going to be a frail old man. I just remember thinking like, hell yeah, I don't want to be a frail old man either. And I'm sure you can attest to that as well.
I can. My grandfather right now, he's 80, he has Jubilee 5, so 85. And I love my grandpa. This dude, he has a bar, he's Cleveland, Ohio, Irishman. Like he's got certain bars on certain nights. He has a routine. If you wanted to whack this guy, you know exactly where to find him. He's at this bar at this time. St. Patty's Day, he parties like an animal. He's phenomenal. I want to embody him, but his physical has declined. But he also comes out of that generation of like mowing the lawn is my physical activity. I don't take anything. I never admit that I have a weakness. And that has worked to his detriment because he had an accident. He fell down the stairs, broke his arm. His recovery is going horribly slow. He just is atrophied over time. So yes, that resonates. So I look at him and I with such a broken heart, someone you care about. And it's like, I'm happy for this generation, yours and my generation, because I believe this topic of testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy is going to become less taboo. You're going to be less nervous and scared and embarrassed to admit to it. You'll be quicker to get things checked when you should. And I do mean when you should. I don't mean being 31 and you just want to be more jacked. Like, that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
But I'm hopefully that I don't find myself in my grandfather's position. And same thing with the doc. I want to be the same. I don't want to be a frail old man.
Yeah. And we can look at our genetic pool. I mean, my dad's the same way. He blew his back out. We lived in the country, had some cows, some horses, things like that. He was lifting something up one day, blew his back out, and he was never the same. And like, yes, that's an unfortunate situation, but there could have been so many other things at play where, like, for me, I'm a exact replica of my dad. You put me and my dad next to each other, you're like, that's his son 100%, which is a great compliment. But at the same time, I look at where he's at from a health and strength standpoint now. And that was always something I was like kind of concerned about, just, with being in the fitness industry as long as I had been. I was like, man, I really want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. But then it got to a point where it kind of caught me. And I was in the same experiences as you, where I'm like, I was training, but nothing was really progressing the same it had been. I didn't have that same edge, that same fire. And it was just like something was going on. But one point you touched on that I'd like to touch on is, we've been in the fitness industry for a long time. It's always been a part of who we are. But just because we got our prescription and we started, getting our hormone levels back where they're supposed to be, it wasn't a magic pill. It wasn't like we started taking it and 2 weeks later we were jacked and ready to go. And that's what I always try to tell and make sure people understand that, like, I didn't start taking this and then I was a new human the next day. Like, there was a time, there was, work that put in. So I'd love to hear a little more about your story there.
And people who listen to us, I think a lot of people hear them like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I got that same response. So I literally went and made a video. It's on YouTube right now. I've got this diary kind of channel where I just document my training for the Chicago Marathon concurrently with my strength work. It's called Respect the Tempo. And I made this full 20+ minute video of showing when I got on TRT, right, what my levels were, started around the 400s. And then I show a full year, a little over a full year of me. And you look at me like, that guy's not on TRT. There's no way that guy is on TRT. I was working like crazy. I was working out what I call like as hygiene. Like sometimes you go home and I got to shower. I don't want to shower. I'm exhausted. But if I don't shower, I'm going to smell like shit. I need to shower. Like, you do it out of maintenance hygiene kind of scenario. That was my fitness, maybe 3 days a week. And I was on it. It was doing all the chemically things, like my brain, my cognitive was back. This was back. But I wasn't focusing on nutrition. I wasn't focusing on training. I was just focusing on, it was also COVID, owning a gym during COVID, right? Putting out fires left and right. Now, fast forward to 2021. I'm on the same amount of TRT. My levels are up now from 400 to like 600. Okay. Feeling good, not great. Good though, really good. Way better than before.
Right.
But then I hired a registered dietitian. I then fully dedicated myself back to fitness. From that period, within less than 6 months, my levels at the same TRT prescription bump up. I'm like closer to the 9s now.
Yep.
And everything changes. Now people look at me and I work out and they're like, yeah, okay. Cause I'm the first thing they're like, dude, what do you eat? I'm like, TRT. Like, I joke around. I always address the elephant in the room right away. Cause I want to get it out there. Like, I'm on TRT, but guess what? I was on it for over a year. I did not look like this at all. It is not a magic pill. You still have to put in the work. And that was something I learned even back in college when I did steroids. Like, I think there was a part of me like, I could just take fucking 40 milligrams of D-ball and look like, no, you're just going to have a moon face and be like big and water retention based. And like, you're not going to be strong. You have to get in there and you have to move weight and run. You have to be fit. So yeah, it's, that's why, like, when people think it's a magic pill, I'm just like, I promise you're going to be so disappointed if you think that's the case. But if you're low in your natural production of testosterone, you will go high. You will go back up to normal. But once you're at normal and you put all these things into play, nutrition and the proper training program for you and your goals, that's when people look at you like, are you on something? You're like, yeah, I'm eating the right amount of grams of protein, the right amount of calories. I'm on fucking 8 hours of sleep. Yep. I'm on fucking this. And TRT.
And like, my hormones are where they're supposed to be. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. That's it.
Right. And that's always the big piece I think is so funny. People, they think if they get on TRT, they're in a couple weeks going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Rocky Balboa, where they're just going to be this, they're not going to be able to wipe their own ass, right? Because they're going to be this giant human being. And I think me and you are perfect examples. You know, I've kept the same amount of body weight. My body weight hasn't changed at all. I wouldn't really say that was a goal for me. It was a little more aesthetic, if anything. Like I wanted to tighten up a little bit.
It's more of like a recomposition you kind of saw, like up to mean body mass, reduction in body fat. Yeah.
Yeah. And part of it was the training. You know, I was getting back in the gym and I was fixing my diet and stuff. But for me, I didn't come into it saying like, hey, doc, I want to lose 10, 15 pounds. Like that's my goal. It was just like, I want to feel better. I want to look better. And I want to be more confident. And I want to have all the other stuff you touched on, the mental clarity and stuff. I do have a question to ask you, and I love your personality and how open you are. Do you feel like you're cheating?
No. Oh God, no. I didn't feel like I was cheating when I did my first kipping pull-up either. Right. I do not feel like I'm cheating. There's a great line by Louis Simmons. I didn't invent steroids, but I'm smart enough to use them. Okay. Like I wasn't smart enough to invent steroids, but I am smart enough to use them. I think is essentially the essence of the quote. I look at it like this. I got LASIK surgery in 2014 because I couldn't see shit. And I hated it as a gym owner. I'm up at 4 a.m. in the morning trying to put contacts in, and you're just like, it's a nightmare. I got LASIK surgery. Okay. I know friends and family who have had tattoo removal, right? I do not see anything wrong with utilizing whether, technological advances in medicine and things like that. Or the thing about this, TRT is not a technological advance in medicine. It is the most basic, archaic, most elementary level. It's like if you've got an amoxicillin for a cold, that is more advanced than an increase in testosterone. Like so it's not cheating. It'd be like, hey man, you're cheating. You're lifting the barbell with your hands. Like what? Like what are you talking about? Like it's there's nothing special here. And now anyway, it's I was using that CrossFit example of kipping pull up, and now these kids have like 4 different pairs of gymnastics grips, and this one's grippier than that one. Like this isn't that. This is like just using your hands to grip the fucking pull up bar. That's all. I'm using my own natural testosterone. It's just lower than what it needs to be. I take vitamin D. Is that cheating? Why? Because I have really low vitamin D levels.
Or creatine. So. I'm sure a lot of athletes take creatine.
100%.
That's one of the most
creatine a day.
Most researched supplement on the planet. It definitely helps in many ways. So like it's a crazy 100%. Deal. I know for me, I have a football background, and it's like, I was a little guy, a little receiver. I spent my whole life avoiding guys that could kill me. And I think about like if those, how can somebody at 400, my testosterone levels at 400 go against a guy that's in the thousands and he's trying to kill me? Like, how come he doesn't have the advantage then? And I'm at a disadvantage just based on that alone. And so that's how, I kind of always look at it. It's like, we want sports to be this level playing field. Well, if I'm deficient in something, but he's not, like, how is it fair for me to then not be able to compete with him because of my deficiencies in that?
Correct. And that's why, like, for me personally, just from an ethical moral code, like when I was in college, I was doing oral steroids. I was doing things that were not naturally produced in my body.
Right.
That for me is a no-go anymore. And that I would consider, and I don't like, it couldn't be cheating because I'm not in a professional sport regulated by, the World Drug Association, whatever that WADA or whatever that anti-doping association is. Like, it's not that. This isn't the documentary Icarus on Netflix. Okay.
Yes.
So, yes, there's no cheating. I have one life. I don't know when it's going to end. We all have a terminal illness right now. We just don't know when we die. And I'm going to, if I have something naturally inside that I can increase that makes my life 1,000% better across multiple different spectrums, then I will do that regardless. You can call me whatever you want.
Yep. And that's exactly how I look at it. I know I use football as an example, but I'm with you. Like, I'm not competing in anything. Now, if I decided I want to do a weightlifting meet or something like that, where it was a sport that was drug tested and things like that, that's a different conversation. But that's not my goals right now. My goal is to be a better father, be a better husband, have more energy, kick ass at my job, do things like that. And I think that's where like the benefits outweighed anything else for me. And that's where I think if a lot of people took a step back and they're realistic about like what their goals are and what all the pros and the cons, weigh those two out, I think it's a pretty easy decision for most guys in our scenario.
I had a good conversation with a buddy of mine. He's a very successful business person, and he's He's a one percenter, as we would all think of what a one percenter is. And he was telling me about this awesome tax loophole him and his financial forensics team discovered that allowed him to save several $1,000,000 this past year. He was super excited about it. He also has confided to me low sex drive, low energy, worse cognitive clarity, lack of energy, all this. And I said, so listen, you get super excited because they discovered something that was already existent in the IRS tax code. And they just simply are using this thing that was existent. You just didn't know about it prior, but you're giving me a hard time about, I've been trying to send him to doc to go and talk to him about just bring up your natural testosterone. Listen, homie, you got a good looking wife. You better do something or the pool boy will. Like, let's not be joking around here. Like, and once I laid it out with him, it was joking, but I mean, he also knew I was serious. He's like, yeah, I do all these hacks in my business and I do anything to make my business successful legally. Well, this is legal. This is legal and natural. And so I'm hoping that maybe the next time I talk to him, he says he gave Doc a call and that maybe reframed his perspective.
Yeah. And I always refer back to this, but the podcast I shared on our socials a couple of weeks ago was talking about the thyroid issue, right? We all have a mom or we have an aunt or somebody in our family or a friend has a thyroid issue. And so they take a thyroid medication because they have a deficiency there. And Jeff hit it right on the head. He's just like, there's not any difference here. These guys have deficiencies that cause all these problems in their lives, all the stuff we keep hitting on. Well, all we're doing is fixing the deficiency. We're not cheating anything. We're not doing anything that's not abnormal out of the body. We're simply fixing an issue of a deficiency, and that's it.
Simple as that. And again, some people it'll take them a while. And unfortunately, it might have to be like a bad crash, right? Like a big argument or some issues with the spouse at home, or maybe like this, that, or something, whatever. But I just know this: I'm a better father. I'm a much better businessman. I think I'm a nicer human. I'm a better boyfriend. I perform better the things I want to perform in athletically. And I say yes to things way worse for me. I mean, I'm a big fan of whiskey, big fan, big fan, right? And I say yes to things like that on a probably more common than often basis. And so for me to not say yes to something like this, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, I know you have a big 2023 planned out. You were talking about how you've been sharing your journey so far. Now, when you take your prescription, you don't do it yourself. You go to a clinic.
I don't. Yeah. And I don't have a fear of needles or anything. Like I do my peptide injections. It's an insulin needle. You just kind of grab a chunk of fat on your stomach and put it in there at a 45-degree angle. That's real simple. The reason though, I'm also very self-aware of who I am. I am somebody who will constantly push the edge of things. I'm also someone who can get addicted to something very, very easily. I'm very lucky. There is a clinic right next to where I drop my daughter off at school. And I've got a great arrangement. Doc does my protocols and everything is through the doc. And I'm able to go in through this clinic and get administered right in there. And it's nice because they know what the protocol is. So it's not like I'm like, man, my deadlift isn't real big. I'm going to make this instead of 240 milligrams. I'm going to pull back that plunger and let's see what 280 does. But I know myself and I want that possibility to be completely out of my hands. So there was a nurse. Her name was Brenda. She's incredible. She just pulls exactly what the doc's written, not a drop more. And that's it. And like, it's out of her hands. She sticks me. I'm in and out in 6 minutes. They're really fun people. I see them every week now because it's just convenient. But if my daughter, when she changes schools or something, I'll just probably inject it myself at that point. But for now, I wanted it out of my control. I wanted to be properly administered. I didn't want to be, allured into maybe pulling back on that plunger a little bit more. And I think that's just a level of self-awareness everyone has to have. And I just took that problem and made it go away. So now I don't have to worry about it.
That's awesome. When you were learning more about this, was that something you had to deal with right out of the gate as far as like, man, I'm going to be pushing this as hard as I can. Like I need to make sure I set some boundaries as far as some of this stuff goes. Cause we do know we've talked about all the good side of this, but it can go a bad direction. Right. And we can start misusing this stuff. So
I know 100% you can. And people, I got some buddies right now who they're not on TRT. Like they're not doing it with a doc. They're doing the shady. I bought some shit on the internet and I tell them all the time, like, you're such an idiot. Don't do this. But pull them back more than what they think. And, now they're getting these, I mean, like they won't even take their shirt off. We go out to the pool in the summer, like the acne and just like the stretch marks. And like, I mean, I still have very faint stretch marks from when I abused steroids in college. They're just going away. And I'm 37. And I try to tell them like, listen, you'll know when you're pushing it too far, you're going to have side effects. I don't believe that steroids give or testosterone gives roid rage. I think if you're someone who's naturally an angrier individual, it will amplify it. If you're naturally, you got a bit of a short fuse, it's a bit shorter and there's a little bit more kerosene on it. But yeah, I tell them all the time, like, don't go too much. So for me, I'm just like self-aware. And I also like wanted to truly feel medicative. I think for a lot of people, it feels dirty, like drugs and stuff like that, because you can shoot yourself. Like you remember these days. I used to go into a Gold's Gym. I used to work out there as a kid in high school. There were guys just leg up on the fucking counter at the, in front of the mirror, just pop it right in there in front of everyone. And dudes were just sharing drugs and stuff. Like that was a real thing I saw in high school. I didn't want to have it myself. And my daughter walks in like, Daddy, what are you doing? Like, and I could explain it to her, but it's like, it feels so much more like what it is. It is medical. Yep. Essentially assisted hormone replacement therapy. And I go to a doctor's office to get it. I don't know. It just feels so much more cleaner that way for me.
Yeah. And I think you've hit it on the head. It's not steroids. People think that it is steroids, that it is a growth hormone that's going to make your forehead bulge out and you're just going to turn into the Incredible Hulk. And, as long as you're doing it the right way and with the right protocols, which obviously the doc, that's the number one important thing to him, is making sure that we're extending lives, not shortening them. Right. So we want to make sure that those protocols are in place. And so I think that's really cool. Yeah. One last thing I'd like to touch on, is there either a conversation or anything specific you've heard from Doc or Jeff that really kind of has resonated with you?
So it was great. I had Doc come on my podcast and we were talking shop, and I always found I love, because when he's done as many of these consultations as he has, he's also had the benefit of not only working with maybe the husband who's come in, but also hormone replacement for the wife. And those are ones, because again, this TRT, I think everyone instantly thinks of a male. That is with TRT, but with hormone replacement therapy, there's the female category is very broad. So any conversation I've had with Doc where we talk about the role of hormone replacement therapy in females, I have found very interesting and refreshing. I'm a girl dad as well, as I sit here with my pink unicorn bracelet on right now. And I'm sure you understand what that life's like. You're just got all this girly stuff all over my place 24/7. I think about that stuff. I want to be educated in like that kind of thing. So maybe if my daughter ever has a question or stuff like that, I'd be able to at least point her in the right direction or answer anecdotally from things that I've learned from Doc. But whenever he's talked about on the female side, I think that's huge. I think females are put in a position athletically where they're already a peg down compared to men, whether it's NCAA sports or the WNBA or whatever it is. It's for whatever reason, not exciting enough, not this enough, not that, not enough money put towards it. Whatever the reason is, I don't want to get into an argument on it, but it's like whatever the reason is, I feel also they're probably also at a disadvantage when it comes to where their hormone levels at, what's going on with them. Like, and people in that conversation, we think, you and me are sitting here thinking, we think the majority of men need to hear this conversation. Well, God, if the majority of men need to hear this conversation, what percentage of women need to hear the hormone replacement therapy conversation? It's probably way more. I don't think there's as many advocates for them. I'd love to see, I don't know if you guys have ever had, how many women you guys have had on the podcast to have those discussions, but I think those are some of the more interesting ones for me.
Yeah. And that's something we're definitely looking into. I was just actually talking to Jeff about that yesterday. Like, that's something that we need to hit, because I know with me, we were just talking about, we both have kids and stuff. My wife's currently pregnant right now. So hormones in our house right now between the two little girls and my wife are at all-time high. But it's been cool because as she's seen me educate myself and the changes that I've seen personally, she's ready to do her blood work. I mean, it doesn't make sense, obviously, right now. We need to get through the pregnancy and things like that. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, think about it. She's gonna have 3 kids in under 5 years. And so like her body has went through a lot of trauma, and not even just physical trauma, like her endorphins, her her levels as far as her hormones, like all that stuff is going to be all over the place. And so I think it is a super important conversation for the women to start acknowledging and hitting it right on the head. Cause like, menopause, all that stuff that docs mentioned before, that it helps these women really cope with some of those ailments that happen throughout their life, whether it is the pregnancy and things like that.
Absolutely. And for every guy listening, you should be the biggest advocate for it, because it's not that your wife's maybe a crazy bitch. She's not. She just like women. Women have hormonal roller coasters monthly that we do not have. Like, they have so much more going on that if someone could look at there and be like, oh, man, maybe one of the reasons is this, that, you guys are, getting into arguments, or she's feeling this way, or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm very interested to see where it goes in those conversations as far as females go in the future.
It's awesome, man. Well, Stu, I appreciate you coming on, man. This is a great conversation. I think it brought a lot of insight.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we're going to have you on again soon. I love hearing more about your training coming up this upcoming year, and good luck with all your events coming up.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome.